Hello, good afternoon. We're going to have a little bit of dialogue as people are joining us. Not sure what we're going to dialogue about, but we'll figure that out. So excited. We shifted our focus this year. Instead of having a bunch of state webinars, we're having one big national webinar. We've got a couple of special guests that we're going to chat with their Learning Blade experience. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So as people are coming into the chat, a couple of things I want to share with you. I see we've got a few people that have already joined us. Super. So the purpose for this conversation is kind of twofold. One is to provide new users a little glimpse into what Learning Blade is. And I glanced at the attendance, the registrant list, and we've got teachers from all over the country that are logging in. Got a bunch that have already logged in today. But if you don't already have your Learning Blade account, I invite you to go to the link that's on the page, learningblade.com/states, and sign up for your account. We also invite you, if there's another educator in your district, in your town, whether that is a public or private school, we invite you to share that link with them so they can sign up for their free account as well. We love to give the gift of Learning Blade. Learning Blade is fully funded in a number of different states. So we love for teachers to be able to use this great resource. We firmly believe that this is an opportunity for students' lives to be impacted, to give students vision and purpose through lessons that are completed in their class during the school year. We'll give a couple more moments for people to get logged in, and then I'm going to begin a little bit of dialogue. I'll introduce our guests here in just a moment. And by all means, there's a chat feature if you want to jump into that chat. Some people are already doing it. Jackson Olin, that is a high school not far from me here in the Birmingham, Alabama area. But we would love you to kind of sign in and say who you are and where you're from as we get this party started. Perfect. So we've got 3 states represented so far. There's my friend Belinda from Birmingham City Schools. Perfect, loving it. All right, so I'm gonna jump in and kind of get started. Again, if you want to sign up for your free account, go ahead to learningblade.com/states. Got a whole bunch of states that are kind of chiming in. Love that. Oh, we've got states from all over the country: Boise, Idaho, Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio. I love this. South Carolina. All right. It is 3:30. So I'm going to go ahead and kick us off. All right, a little background on Learning Blade. Learning Blade is a STEM virtual toolkit, and part of the reason why Learning Blade exists is to help the growing demand for the STEM workforce. Here's a few things that our team has learned in the time that we've been doing this Learning Blade virtual toolkit. We've learned that STEM jobs pay more. We've learned that while there are students that are prepared for STEM, not all of them are interested. We've also learned that there's some hurdles along the way when it comes to women and minorities being underrepresented in STEM fields. And we believe that an answer to this is by providing some awareness. 94% of middle school students are making career-related decisions, Yet our team will tell you when we ask teachers, hey, what are your students saying they want to be when they grow up? The most prevalent answers that I've heard are, I don't know, professional athlete, social media influencer, and things like that. We believe you can't be what you can't see. This is 100% an opportunity for kids to see um, things beyond the scope of what is right there in their school or in their town. And many of the things that they're going to see here in Learning Blade are potentially in your area, in your region. Learning Blade kind of functions two different ways. It allows students to lean into their interest and grow towards what is interesting to them. On the flip side, it also allows teachers to reinforce academic standards, math, science, English, social studies, and technology standards, and allow students to make the connection with the thing they're learning in class and the career or technology that they could earn a living from somewhere down the pike for them. And why that's important, we believe it's important for students to begin to have that vision in middle school and early high school. All right, this is the list of missions that are in Learning Blade. Our special guests are going to talk about their experience in Learning Blade and some of their favorite lessons and missions that they have done. But this is a list of 450 different lessons and activities that can be completed. They're self-graded, they're self-paced for your students, but this allows students to make connections to see just a wide variety of different careers that are represented. And at the same time, inside the mission, each mission, students are introduced to 5 different careers, 5 different technologies that help to solve that problem. And through that introduction, they're seeing problems get solved and people using some of the things that they're learning about in class. All right, and Kelly, want to introduce my friend Kelly. I was involved in her very first training, and Kelly is our Learning Blade National Educator of the Year. So huge congratulations to her. She hails from, let me see if I can say it, Kosciuszko Middle School in Hamtramck, Michigan. How did I do, Kelly? Was I close?
Yeah, close.
Okay,
Kosciuszko?
Kosciuszko. Okay, thank you. She hails right outside of the Detroit area. 23rd year in teaching, 13th year with her school district, and she is a 7th and 8th grade STEM teacher, and her focus this year is on automation and robotics. And Kelly, I want you to jump in and share a little bit of your Learning Blade experience and some of the things that you've been able to do. I've got some slides to support that conversation for you as well.
Okay, so I jumped in, like you said, at the beginning of last year. I was looking for something to add to the purpose of why the kids were doing STEM. So we give them all these lovely, cool, fun activities to do, but what do they lead to? What's the point? What's the purpose behind it? So Learning Blade gave them the careers that all of these really cool activities that the students are doing, it connected the activities to a career. So it got them talking. So in the area that I live, that I work in, most of the students are looking to do a career-oriented, what their dad did, what their grandfather did,
right?
Go into the family business. And there can only be so many party stores, or it's a large immigrant community, and so the family business, there can be a saturation in the market. So I want them to start focusing on things outside of what they're doing. And in Michigan, most of what we do for our students is college bound. We kind of lost track over the last 20 or so years of skilled trades. And this brings that all back into focus. Okay, so skilled trade can be still college bound, but you're using a 2-year college instead of a 4-year college. And we have the local college near us, which is not in Wayne County, we're by county, but really close because we're on the edge of Macomb County within like 15 minutes from our school. We have a community college that offers training in multiple skilled trades. So I was able to take Learning Blade and get the students to connect with that. And then I used the local college to connect the students to some of the careers that we were talking about. Now, fortunately, this is our field trip that he's showing you. We went to Macomb Community College, and at Macomb Community College, they got a huge grant from the U.S. Maritime Naval Base and
Maritime Industrial Base, yes.
Maritime Industrial Base. Okay, I missed a word there. And then, of course, Blue Forge, which is about 1,500 different companies that work together that say we're desperate for these skilled trades. And Macomb Community College got a huge grant in order to train some students in welding, CNC programming, which is coding, and robotics, programming robotics. So what you're looking at in these pictures, can you see my pointer on the screen?
My pointer's on the screen.
Okay, so there's the college, and if you come down here, this is the robotics, and they're learning how the robotics work and what they do in a factory setting. And then over here, they're talking to the guys in the welding, and they're seeing some of the tools. Now, welding is kind of dangerous, so they can see a lot of the tools and everything that they use and the types of welding that they're taught how to do at Macomb Community College. And then over in the next one is CNC programming. And so in the course of that, and then I don't have it here at my home office, the kids were able to see how a CNC, which is subtractive manufacturing, actually makes a part. And so they got this really cool block that I don't have. I'm going ahead and talking with my hands, but I'm so sorry.
So,
but
hey, Kelly, one
experience.
question I have for you is, what mission was your focus mission before you jumped into this field trip? What Learning Blade mission?
We used Beneath the Seas. We used Beneath the Seas, and Beneath the Waves. I'm sorry, Beneath the Waves, building the submarines. I'm sitting here looking at it and I can't say it. Beneath the Waves. There is a short version of it, but if you really want to get into the hands-on activities, which there are plenty of hands-on activities to do, you want to do the long version of it. Because in the hands-on activities, they build a submarine, they sink the submarine. It works really well in those big old 25-gallon tubs that you get, the Sterilite tubs, the cheap ones. You can fill those full of water and sink and float anything you want in one of those. So we were able to do that in the classroom. And in this, we had the opportunity to write to some naval officers and to see what it was like to actually live on a submarine. So we were able to extend it well beyond the classroom. The kids really, really enjoyed it because it made it real to them and it made it attainable to them. So they were able to talk to a naval submarine officer, and they did all of the activities, and honestly, they helped each other. So they worked together, they understood. They have these really cool little characters that the kids built, and then they had to actually they had to be able to explain what the jobs were. So they picked a career that was interesting to them, and they were able to report on that. So just in this unit, the different careers that came out of it, like the naval architects, the engineers, the welders, the machinists, the quality control inspectors, the programmers, because we do a lot of computer programming. I use Project Lead the Way, and so this supplements everything that I do. I use Project Lead the Way, code.org. I just finished a course with UC Berkeley over the summer. I'm trying to think what else. I don't know. I was able to go to the Computer Science Teachers Conference this summer.
Okay.
And so this is like a really cool way of connecting them to the careers and making it real to them,
Yeah,
giving them
making it
that sense of
relevant, right?
this, right? Making it relevant, giving it purpose. So
Sure.
kids learn better when they have purpose. And this gave them purpose. It gave them, oh, okay, I'm not just learning this because it's going to make everybody happy and whatever. I'm learning this because there might be a job that I want to do someday. And what they found really interesting is because when you're done with teaching them all about the jobs and they're interested, then we're like, am I going to make any money on this? Because it's seventh and eighth grade and everybody
Yeah,
wants to know how much money they're going to make, right? So
certainly.
at the last slide of every single one of this, it gives you a breakdown of what your very lowest pay is to what
Hmm.
your very highest pay is. And the kids are, wow, I can make that much money. I'd be rich. And they're thinking at the very lowest pay, they're showing some of these at $70,000 a year. And I'm like, but are you looking at the very highest pay if you continue to learn and keep working in the
Hmm.
in the industry? And so they make that connection. It becomes relevant to them. They're like, I can make a living doing this. I don't have to be, work in the family business. I can do something else. I can be my own, do something that I want to do. And so for them, it was like an eye opener. It not only gave them purpose, but it's an eye opener. It gives them access to so many different careers. Um, and so we really took this to heart and we really ran with the Beneath the Waves submarines program because it's accessible for them. And for me, anything that you can do, I was talking about this with our representative, Mr. Mullen, and I said,
Hmm.
if I were able to connect to the local hospital and maybe the local pathology lab, because there's a unit on that, or if I were able to connect them to the GM plant or
Hmm.
to, I don't know, the drone show people that do the drone shows, or we have in Michigan, we have the automotive show. There's actually a whole section on the people that create the presentations that they use at the auto show in the Learning Blade. It's definitely curriculum that I recommend, but you can't just hand it to the kids and say, here, do this. Don't use it as a time filler. Use it to complement your curriculum. If you use it to complement your curriculum, it will work for the kids and it will work for you because they'll be interested in learning more.
I
And
love that.
so, okay.
And some of the pieces and parts that Kelly mentioned, I'm going to detail some of those as we continue to talk through this. But thank you, Kelly, for sharing your heart on that. I know you're going to be around here for just a few more minutes. I did get word that you do have to step out before this conversation is over. She has
I
won
do.
another award, so congratulations there. But if you want to chime in here in just a moment, I am going to give uh, Jody an opportunity to share a little bit from her perspective as well. Jody joins us. We're still on the East Coast, but Jody joins us from Central Florida. She is the, the the community sponsors liaison at Millennium Middle School. She is. I understand you are one of the trainers. Kind of working alongside our team to help make this resource available to folks in your district. So welcome, Jody. You're going to describe kind of your experience with utilizing Learning Blade and getting teachers up and ready for Learning Blade and some of the other pieces and parts of that. And I will do my best to keep up in the slides with you.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate it. And I also wanted to thank Simone Smith for inviting me to come on here. This is a really great opportunity to talk about something that I utilize in my classroom with middle schoolers that I can share with other teachers. And I think that you guys will really enjoy this as much as I have. So again, thank you. My name is Jody, and I teach a CTE course here at Millennium Middle School, and it's Exploring Pathways. And Exploring Pathways is a series and a LEAP series of courses which really talks about careers and the 17 different career clusters, and a deeper dive into each one of those clusters. And so with that, I also serve as the community liaison, where I build partnerships with our local businesses and community sponsors in the area. And so I've had the opportunity to work with our sponsors and invite them to come into our classroom while we're using Learning Blade. And they can see they can bridge that gap with the career exploration in the classroom and the real world community experience. So Learning Blade has offered my students the opportunity to do that, and it's been wonderful. I could not have built or developed, I should say, a better program myself. It is unbelievable. Learning Blade, there are so many resources within Learning Blade, and it is so user-friendly for the students. They love the UI on it, as they say. It's appealing. It looks great from the beginning, right when you get on it. And there's so many things that I could say about it that I can't take up all the time. So I tried to condense all of the wonderful things into just a few. But we use it goes hand in hand with our curriculum. And so I know, working in the public schools, we have, unit planners and lesson plans, and we have to follow certain procedures. And these Learning Blade lessons, they go hand in hand with our curriculum in Florida and our standards. So if your school provides you with certain standards, or your state, then you might want to look into using Learning Blade as well. It exposes these students to real careers in an interactive way. So teaching middle school, I have an elective class, and let's say there's 35 students in the class on an average, and I have anyone from an ESE student or ESOL. We have a large population, like Kelly was saying, of immigrants, and so we have a lot of non-English speaking students. And then I have all the way up to advanced and gifted, and they're all in the same class. So, it's unique for teachers to try to come up with lessons and develop activities for the students where everybody wants everyone's invested in paying attention. But at the same time, we're not teaching our students from 10 years ago. These are completely different students, and they're fidgety. They don't want to sit, they're not, when I was growing up, and when a lot of you other teachers were growing up, we sat in rows and we listened to a lecture. Those days are gone. So this is a tool that we can use as teachers to teach the students today how they need to learn and how they want to learn, which is interactive. And so with the Learning Blade, you can set up different stations in your room depending on which Learning Blade activity you're using, and they can walk around, they can move, they can talk to each other. So those are all great things that they can do. I allow my students to choose their first mission, because I feel like if they buy into this program, then they will love it. And I don't want to put them on, let's say, a financial literacy mission if this student wants to open a barber shop, or even though they're going to need to learn how to do that, but they all have so many different interests that I want their first mission to be something they're really interested in, and then I can guide them and we can learn about other ones along the way. One example is Beneath the Waves that Kelly was speaking about, Beneath the Waves mission. We had Miss Smith, Simone Smith, actually came into our classroom as a guest speaker for Learning Blade that day, and she helped navigate a participation with all the students in a letter writing activity. So they knew that their activity after the mission with this letter writing was actually being mailed to people that were in service, and they thought it was awesome. And it was it's a way to give back to the community, and they love that. With that lesson, I was able to tie it into the community because I brought someone from our school that actually works in the Navy, and she came in and was able to speak with the students. And so they could see and touch and feel all of her things. And she had a slideshow presentation. So we're using Learning Blade, but I'm also tying it to the community. For instance, a mission on crime, on security, and crime scene and security. We had a police chief of our area come in and speak about his long-term career in law enforcement and forensics, and then tied it to back to our mission in security. And he would speak, or she would speak about the jobs in law enforcement, not just a police officer. So like Scott said, it opened the students' eyes. You can't be what you can't see. And that's what he said at the beginning of this. And that is so true. For another mission, the financial literacy, business, and IT career, I've had multiple guest speakers from banking institutions come in and do a lesson on financial literacy. And then with that, have them make their own credit card, and I laminate that and give that to them. And it's a hands-on, you're moving around, it's interactive, but you're using Learning Blade. Learning Blade is the basis of everything. And so it's just wonderful. You're just building on all of these things from Learning Blade. Another one I talked about, Beneath the Waves. Another mission that's amazing is entrepreneurship and business. And that's one that's one of my favorites, because you can have so many different type of guest speakers come in to talk about entrepreneurship. I had a lot of business owners. Owner of a Texas Roadhouse came in and talked about working in a restaurant. When you think about working in a restaurant, there's so many aspects. It's not just being a server. And so our students, like Scott said, they're able to see through Learning Blade what other opportunities are out there. I have to share another one with you. I hope I'm not running over time, but this was so meaningful. I knew someone that was a flight attendant for Spirit because she was a retired teacher. She taught for 36 years, retired. And then said, I'm not staying home. I need to do something. Went and was a Spirit flight attendant. And I tied that into one of the missions as entrepreneur. And you can also tie it into something else that has to do with aviation. And she came in and showed the students with a slideshow what it's like to be on a plane, kind of do like a simulation, because a lot of our students have not traveled. We take it for granted that we've been on airplanes, but a lot of our students have not. And they didn't realize that as a flight attendant, I can travel the world for free and get paid. And they're like, what? And so then after the flight attendant left, we went back into Learning Blade and finished the mission, and they were so excited about it. Okay, so I wanted to touch base on that. I also wanted to touch base on the missions for enrichment. So like Kelly was saying earlier, not to just use this as a time filler, but there are students that finish quickly. We all have them. There's the students that forgot their password, and then there's other students that are like, I'm finished, what can I do? I'm done. And so, there's not enough enrichment to give these students, but Learning Blade gives you the opportunity to stay on the same task, stay on the same lesson as your other students, so you're not moving ahead, but they're deepening their dive into the mission. So that's why I like the smaller missions, and then there's the other missions.
There are express missions, are kind of a brief version.
Yes.
And then the full missions are,
correct.
There's lots of flexibility. And I love that Kelly talked about, hey, I use it specifically with this mission. And Jody said, I give my students choice. So you see two very different but very effective ways of using this within their classrooms. Learning Blade is fully customizable. That's what our team is here for, is to help you customize that, help you take, hey, we know Jody, we know Kelly. How can we take what they've done and share that resource and make it so much easier? Another thing, Kelly talked about the field trip. We've got students across the country that are using Learning Blade to tee up their field trips. whether it's to a naval base, a community college, a manufacturing plant, a maritime museum, lots of different ways that this could be teed up, help you before and after. And I work in some of the states that I'm in, I work with career coaches. And this is a fantastic resource to come ahead of the career coaches and career counselors and provide relevant, authentic conversations instead of the career coach asking the question and not getting a response. The students have a response. They've been through Learning Blade. They've seen some of those things. Okay. I know, Kelly, you're about to jump off to your next adventure. Is there anything you want to share with us before you take off?
No, I like Jody's expanded. Again, like I said, I was just talking with John about expanding it, to have the kids go and have more people come in every time they finish a mission or get different people coming in. Because we do a career day and that's an overwhelming thing for kids. But to have someone come in that's relevant to whatever they're learning, I agree with that 100%. The more exposure kids have, the more choice they have. And giving them that opportunity to decide or figure out what they want to be or what they want to do or what they might want to try and how to get there is half the battle, because I think a lot of our kids are, again, in Michigan, at least, we moved away from doing that with the kids, and not every kid wants to. So for me, it's personal. I have a grandson that's kind of flailing because everybody said, oh, you have to go to college, you have to do this. That wasn't his choice or his career path. And now he's trying to figure it out and he's 21. And so, this gives him that choice, that opportunity, that connection. There's other things out there. And maybe I don't need a 4-year degree, but a skilled trade, I can do that. I can learn for another 8 weeks or 8 months or learn and work at the same time and be an apprentice. And all of that is here in this, as well as the college. So it's all here.
It's a both and. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. I do have to step off and go because it takes about 45 minutes to get where I'm going. All right.
Perfect.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm going to highlight. Thank you so much for joining us. Travel safe.
Okay. Thank you.
Some of the things that Kelly spoke about, some of the things that Jody spoke about as well, you see here on the page. We talked about the lessons. The interactive lessons are all about 10 minutes long. Both Jody and Kelly talked about the hands-on projects. Kelly mentioned the papercraft figures. All of these things are included, and they're here as resources to bring this to life. I love the parent discussion pages. I have children of my own, and I got 2 words when my kids got home from school: good and nothing. And there are better questions to ask, okay, if you provide them with these parent discussion pages. It's a great way to engage moms and dads and guardians, okay? Many schools have 3D printers. There's 3D printed activities that can be accessed here in Learning Blade, okay? I'm going to hit some of the highlights. Jody, as you see something, chime in. We're going to have kind of a dialogue through this. You're seeing a little snapshot. Jody talked about this. You're seeing 2 of our missions. This page is a little difficult to read, so I'm going to go into the next one. This is our dolphin rescue mission. And again, Jody and Kelly both said there's flexibility on the way that you use this. We talked about the full mission. That's about 8 hours of time. And the express mission is represented by the dots. And then it's subdivided even more so from there by the different, we call these our tools, and we call these our teammates. It's subdivided there, and there's no right or wrong way. It could be one single lesson. It could be one of the tools or teammates. It could be several tools and teammates. There's lots of flexibility to hit the high points for what you're doing. Okay, and Jody kind of referenced that. Jody, have you done any of the lessons in Dolphin Rescue? Have your students done some of those?
Yes, they have, because when just looking at the images draws students in. The images, like I said, your UI is amazing. And so it grabs the student's attention. Right when they see the dolphin, they're like, oh, I love dolphins. I want to do that. And so then they realize when they get into it, what really it's about. And so, yeah, they've done that.
Okay. Also we included, we talked about the missions, also included are several different modules. This is one of our modules called Intro to Coding. It's a 20-hour ready to teach coding experience. And Jody, I don't know about you. I am not a coding teacher. I don't have a huge, strong computer science background. But I'm able to jump in and teach this. Have you experienced this unit yet?
So we've looked into that, and a lot, like I said, we've done a lot of this with the enrichment. So we have a lot of students that
Perfect.
want to move forward. They want to move forward, and they know they want that STEM career. You know, when you were saying this earlier, Scott, you asked students, oh, what is it that you want to do when you get older? And everybody wants to be in the NFL, in the NBA, or a professional
Yeah.
YouTuber or an influencer. And I don't, put that down. I say, okay, those are great ideas, and you may be able to do that, but we can always have a backup plan.
There you
Or
go.
let's learn about some other avenues. And the students that say, I want to code or I want to build a video game, they know that that's what they want to do. So
That's right.
This will keep your students who may have a challenging time keeping their interest. It will keep them very, very motivated.
And this is beautiful because as a teacher, you can learn and grow with your students with this unit. All of our state managers are here to help, but this, like I said, does come with lesson plans and is really user-friendly. Jody, so I discovered a question to ask students to determine if they are really coders. My question is this: what language do you code in? If they give a response that's a real coding language, they probably are some type of block coding. The coders. The first time I asked that question, two of the students that answered it said that they coded in English, and I said, I don't know. Anyway, let's keep moving through some of our other elements. Have you experienced this artificial intelligence course yet?
Yes, and interestingly enough, piggybacking off what you said about the coding, one of my APs a few years ago said something to me that stuck with me, and I'll never forget it, and I want to share it with you. She said, our students are experts on their phones. They are not experts on the computers.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a big difference. And so that is another reason why Learning Blade and the AI module is so important, because they do know their way around the phones. Sure. But this is something completely different.
It is. And so we've discovered in conversations that I've had with educators in the past year, our students know how to use AI.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. They know what it is, but let's get down to point 4. Do they know how to use it ethically? So therein lies some of the pieces of this puzzle. This is a fantastic tool to help utilize that for classrooms. And I know some school districts have turned it off, some have turned it all the way on. And there's varying degrees of that, but this is a resource to help students explore what it is, how it works, and how we can use it ethically.
And our students, some of our students feel that AI is used as a cheating tool. And they asked me, Miss Stella, do you use AI? And I say, absolutely, I use it every day. And they are surprised I said that. And I said, AI is here to stay. It's only getting to, to be bigger. And we need to learn how to use it properly, like you said, ethically.
Absolutely. So I'm going to keep moving through my slides here. I love this dialogue that we're having. So one of the things we do, schools that complete 5,000 lessons they're not eligible to win. They do win one of these drones. I don't know if your school won one of these last year or not. Something to look forward to this year. But this is an American-made drone, so we've had some schools that couldn't receive one that was not made in America because they were too close to a military base, but they receive a drone. It comes in a kit. They put it together. There's some drone activities that are included. This drone is cool because it's codable and it flies with the remote. So lots of different fun things with the drone that's included. And we're just going to kind of step through a little glimpse into this is what the missions look like when the students log in. They have some free choice. You can rein that in. That's what we talk about in our trainings, how to rein that in if you want to. Jody talked about giving her students lots of choice. There's flexibility for the students. This is, the student now is seeing the main page, the dashboard for this lesson, and they have some options. If a teacher has made assignments, those are going to land on the My Lessons page. Okay, and these are what the lessons look like. Okay, so they're self-paced, they're self-graded. They are. So Jody, let me ask you a question: is literacy a big deal? Is numeracy a big deal in your district?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, it is. This is another way to tick that box for your students, and we believe, and both you and Kelly said this is an engagement tool. So it's important for you as you roll this out to your students to model how to use these lessons. One of the things I've discovered as it does report, it tells you the amount of time. So you can see if a kid is moving through this too quickly. But if you teach the students, if they get an answer wrong, they always get two chances. They can go back and reread. Going back and rereading is a life skill. Not all of our students have. Okay, so it's just another piece of that puzzle to help our students as they go through. Okay, you mentioned this, and I didn't get to the slide when you said it, but the lessons wrap around academic standards. We've got the list pulled up for Wisconsin, but there's one of these for all 50 states. It goes through what Learning Blade lessons line up with different standards. So this is accessible. It's in your Learning Blade account on your resources page. Your state manager can show you where this is and share this with you. It's an easily click through Excel sheet for your use to be able to divvy these lessons out in the right fashion in your class. Okay. There's a number of different reports that you can run. This is our standards report. We can also report based on the information of a student. That's the page that gives the grades and the time spent. And we talked a little bit about this, how lessons can be, you can search. There's several different ways to make assignments. You can assign it in pretty big blocks, smaller blocks, or individual lessons. There's some flexibility with way you do this and when you do this for your students. And here's just a little glimpse at the at-home resources. This is the letters homes to moms and dads. I've actually done this home lab with students in the classroom. Really fun, simple activity, making a Cartesian diver. We had a lot of fun making those. I made those with a bunch of teachers this summer as well. Design thinking. This is that big project. Have you done the design thinking ones, Jody? Some of the big projects.
We did that with Simone. She helped with that. She came in.
Perfect. Perfect. And then mission challenges. Here's a sample of our mission challenges. There's always a math, a science, and English, and a social studies. These are designed to be done in about an hour. And they're designed to use things that are common household items, common things that somebody probably has in their closet down the hall from you. Okay, and that's why we chose those items. Okay, super flexible. Both of these have a rubric at the end, so you know how to grade them to make it super easy for you to implement these things right away. All right, and then I talked about 3D printing. Kelly talked about this specifically using the big Sterilite containers with the buoyancy projects. This is one of our buoyancy projects contained in that submarine mission. You design and build a 3D printed sub, the shell, and you use a balloon for the bladder. Super cool for students to kind of jump in and learn and grow. Students can manipulate the 3D image and then print it out however they've designed it. All right, little recap, and then Jody and I will dialogue just a moment more. There might be some questions here as we wrap up. Learning Blade engages students in an online game-based platform, easily accessible via the internet. Your schools we connect to schools in a variety of different ways. We connect through Clever and ClassLink and Schoology, web-based logins, lots of different ways that we can connect. Our team is here to help with that. It's coding, it's design thinking, it's 3D printing. It is a fantastic resource for motivating minorities, girls, rural, urban students, and beyond to explore STEM and computer science fields specifically related to careers. Okay. It's not just science. I think we get hung up on the S of STEM, but it is science and other academic subjects. And like I said, it aligns with academic standards across the board. Hundreds of hours of online activities and offline activities as well. Okay. These are the states that we have full access. So if you're in one of these states, or you know an educator in one of these states, please pass this on to them. We love when teachers share. Jody has done a bunch of that sharing with teachers in her region. We love when teachers hear about it from other teachers. These are the states that we're currently active in. And I love this page. Just a sample of the work that's been done, the impact. It's not all about just the number of lessons, about the impact for students, right? Students, there's a 55% increase in knowing about computer science careers, 140% more likely to know what STEM workers.
Okay, can you hear me? Because I couldn't hear Scott, so I'm not sure if the audio went out for everyone or if it was just Scott's. Okay, you can hear me. One of the things that Scott said at the very beginning is that this connects instruction, engagement, and community. And those three things, that's exactly how I utilize this. Let's just be real. We don't get paid a huge salary to teach, and we're all here because we want to make an impact on our future, our students and their future. And so if our students believe in themselves, then they will want to do well in school, and therefore want to continue in a career. And so I feel like if they are doing a mission in Learning Blade and they complete it, then they will start building that confidence. And the more confidence that they have, I feel like it's then bridging that gap to where they feel, hey, I can maybe choose a high school that is exactly for aviation, or a high school that specializes in firefighters, or we have a health academy at another high school. And so just being able to have our students believe that the future is theirs. And I fully support Learning Blade and everything that it has to offer, and I would be more than happy to help anybody.
Awesome. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I figured out what was wrong. As we're wrapping up, I wanted everybody to see this is how you can schedule your very own training and connect with our team. So hopefully you can grab a snapshot of that. And then last but not least, I wanted to include this one more time. This link right here, www.learningblade.com/states, to sign up for your free account if you've not done that already. And I know that's been in the chat throughout. Jody, thank you for saving the day when my mic went out. Jody's here to save the day. And we love that this is not just us. We're all a team. This is a community of people kind of helping each other out and learning and growing together. So as you were doing things in your classroom, teachers, we want to hear it. We want to celebrate with you. We want to see those things. So please be sure that you were connecting with your state manager. If you don't know who that is, we do. So we can let you know. And it's in the chat there as well. It's on the screen. I'll put it back on the screen to schedule your own training. But thank you guys very much for joining us today. We're at time. We're actually a little bit over. We appreciate you and look forward to seeing you around very soon.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you all.
Skylar, do I just end the recording?
Yes, you just end the webinar.
All right. Thank you, Jody. Great to see you.